I have literally seen women who lie on men. You are just as bad as he is. You are just as guilty. And if he's to be charged with something, then you should be charged too. We're solid idiots. You know your man is a serial cheater and you continue to sleep with that man unprotected. And now he gives you a sexual transmitted disease. How is this the man's fault? Hey lovies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shan. If you've been here before, welcome back. If this is your first time here, welcome, join the family. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. Ever so often we look at situations and we are even in situations and we tend to, as humans, we always want to find someone to blame. And I find that a lot of times women tend to do that. We tend to blame men for everything. I am hoping that after you watch this video, it will change your mind as far as where you place blame and holding yourself accountable. I have listened to women talk. I have seen videos. I have seen so many different situations that the blame completely lies on the man. One of those examples you would have seen or heard about was that Risa Tisa situation where the entire video, the entire storyline, the entire thing that made her go viral was the fact that every single thing that happened in that situation was blamed on the man. What that left the world with, or women with, is, oh, men are all legion and men are this and men are that. And I've seen it over and over. My thing is, there has to be a point where as women, we look ourselves in the mirror, or we are able to look at our friends and tell them straight up, listen, you played a role in this. I have had to look at myself and said to myself, listen, you allowed this to happen. You permitted this, you tolerated this. And so you have to realize that a lot of things cannot happen without your permission. So if you're with a man, if you're married to a man, or you're dating, or you're in a relationship, or you have kids with a man and he's doing things to you, for example, he's cheating on you. If he's cheating on you and you continue to find out about this and you choose to stay in that relationship, then the fault is yours. There comes a point where you have to understand that if you allow people to do what they want to do and they show you what they want to do and you choose to stay, it is no longer their fault. You cannot look at a man who constantly cheats on his wife or on his girlfriend and she finds out and completely blame the man. Oh, the man ain't this and the man ain't that. What does that make the woman? So if you have men who are constantly doing these things that hurt you and you choose, you affix your signature to those documents and say, you know, I'll write this out with you. Whose fault is it? Is it really just the man's fault? Or is it too hard for us as women to really, really own our parts in our own heartaches? I know it's hard. That rage, that resentment, we want to direct it somewhere. If we hate him enough, or if we resent him enough, and deep down our soul burns with anger because of what he's done. But what we refuse to do is the real work, to look at ourselves and ask, why am I staying here? Why am I in this situation? I often say when women are abused in relationships, and they're on their way out, or they're trying to figure out how to get out, and they have kids and all that, I have empathy because I'm like, hey, this cannot be easy. But then when there are women who stay in those situations for years and years and years, one can argue that it's Stockholm syndrome, you can argue anything, but you have a choice. And if you choose to not even try to leave, then you have to at least hold yourself 50% accountable for the part that you play in your own hurt. I saw this story once with a woman saying how this man that she was with, I'm not sure if they were married, gave her HIV. And she put it on a social media platform anonymously, and the women in the comments were, men are this and men are that. And I'm like, am I missing something here? Am I missing something? Did this man cheat for the first time? No, because she shared her story and she shared that this is something that he's done before. So if you know your man is a serial cheater and you continue to sleep with that man unprotected, and now he gives you a sexual transmitted disease, how is this the man's fault? How is this only his fault? At the very least, I expect that we're going to hold two people then to the fire. It cannot be where I'm just here being a good woman and he's such a horrible person. If you know you are just as bad as he is, you are just as guilty, and if he's to be charged with something, then you should be charged too. Recently in the media, there has been a situation which I don't want to speak much on, but where a woman is pretty much standing behind her man, even though his name is called up with a minor. And I have watched this woman stand beside her man. That's my man. I must stick beside him through the most humiliating situations. And you know what I see? I see women. Oh, what should she do? Should she leave her man? Should she let someone else have her man? And I'm like, that's not such a bad idea. Because if this man doesn't love you and respect you enough to not put you in a situation to be humiliated publicly, maybe the best thing you can do for yourself is let someone else have him. Let that man go. I think personally that there are a lot of men out there that can do so much better. I strongly believe that men can do better, but then they choose not to because there is no repercussion for their actions. If they can do what they want, if they can have 3, 4, 5 different women, they can abuse you, if they can not do right by you and still have your full support, still have you riding with them to your detriment, why bother? Yes, we know some people have better moral values and live by better moral codes than some. If there's no reason to do right, if there's no real prize, because it's not a case like if I do right, then she will be there. It's whatever I do, she'll still be there. If I beat her up, if I humiliate her, if I don't do anything more than the bare minimum, she will still be there. We have to own our parts in whatever it is that we are accommodating, tolerating. There's a saying that says, whatever you choose to tolerate is exactly what you deserve. And if you're sitting there with men and you're just accepting whatever it is that he gives because it could be worse, or you look at someone else's situation, and I know women love to do that. They look at another woman's situation and you see where her husband beat her up and you're like, well, at least he's been cheating on me for the past 10 years. He's given me a couple of STIs, but you know what? At least he didn't beat me. At least he didn't have a baby on me. Girl, come on. We have to demand more. If what you're getting is the bare minimum and you lay down and you make your bed comfy with the bare minimum. I remember a program where a woman was saying that she's been with a man for X amount of time and she wanted pretty much to figure out how to nudge the man that she's with, that she wanted to be married. And what the response that she got was, I don't think she was ready for. She was told, listen, the reason why this man haven't considered marrying you is because you have not made marriage a requirement. And when he said that, I was like, ouch. I've been there. I've been in situations where I did not set my requirements. I did not have my boundaries. I did not make it clear what it is that I expected to get out of it. And so when I got what they were willing to give, I had to accept that because I didn't set a precedence for what I was willing to and not willing to accept. Because guess what? She went into that relationship and I'm pretty sure she's probably there being a good woman and being a ride or die, cooking, cleaning, supporting, pouring into, loving on. Meanwhile, homie is already enjoying the milk for free. Why does he need to go buy the cow? I've seen women try to convince themselves that the situations that they're in, even though they cry themselves to sleep at night, even though they are unhappy, it's better than not having anyone. It's better than having someone else that could be worse and it could be better. I have literally seen women who lie on men, lie that men are doing things, lie that men are buying them flowers and taking them places and planning impromptu dates. Stop doing that. Because when you do that, what you're doing is crippling this man. So even if he was able to be the man that you want, the fact that you already bridged that gap, you're already filling in the blanks. So why bother? I've witnessed it. I've seen women lie on men being better than they really are, men doing way more than they really are. I've seen women buy themselves things and say the men bought it. And I'm like, girl, do you know that it's also a flex to be able to buy something for yourself? But you know why that happens? Because deep down, they know that they deserve better. Deep down, they know that this is not what I want. That's what I want. But they refuse to hold themselves accountable to say, listen, you deserve this or you want this, but you settled for this. So you have to figure out, am I going to make this man know that this is no longer acceptable? Or am I just going to sit here and wallow and hate on every person that I see? You know how you know that women refuse to hold themselves accountable? Let me tell you. When you see a woman get online and she says, my man is so amazing and he does this and he does that, for all I know, she could be lying. But when you see the comment section, girl, who's going to tell her? Oh, you don't know what that man is doing? That I'm like, yeah, there's another bitter one because you refused to set your boundaries. You refuse to make it clear what you want. If loyalty is what you expect of a man, then let that man know this is what I expect in return for this. I will forever say that my love is conditional. You do this and I do that. It will not be you're out here humiliating, embarrassing me, making me feel less than myself, and I'm going to love you till the day you die. It doesn't work that way. You are not going to be out here cheating on me, having women laughing at me in the streets, and I'm just here waiting for you to come home in lingerie under my trench coat. No, that ain't gonna happen, baby. You need to know where your limit is. You need to draw your lines, make it clear that these are my boundaries. If you overstep my boundary, this will be the penalty for that. I've heard women say, even publicly, I don't care what nobody says, I'm not leaving my husband or I'm not leaving my man for other women. And what this man hears is, oh, she ain't going nowhere. There's this guy that was trying to get with me once, and I went on his Instagram and I saw that he was in a relationship. I said to him, like, should you be doing this? You have your girlfriend here and your child. And this man literally said to me, it's no big deal because it's not like she's going to leave anyway. Do you know how embarrassing that is? I don't think you understand just how embarrassing it is for a man to be so sure about you that he knows that even when he's pre-planning the wrongs that he's going to do to you, you're going nowhere. That is actually very embarrassing for a man to know ahead of time that she ain't gonna do nothing. She's stupid. Really, that's what he was saying. He's saying she's too dumb. She loves me more than she loves herself, so she ain't going nowhere. Stop having people walk over you and then blame them. It's like you lay yourself down. You see the mud, you lay in the mud, and you say, hey, babe, walk over me. And when they walk over you, then you're like, you're such a horrible person for walking over me. Come on. Let's be for real. I know women who are arguing and fighting with other women over men who are abusing them. Men who are physically abusing them, and they're fighting with other women for said men. If you think about it, it sounds a little bit, I don't know, it's giving mentally ill. And then you turn around and all day, every day, you meet up with the girls, you group up with the girls, and you talk about how horrible men are, but you refuse to look at the fact that you don't expect much of them. It's like you give yourself, you give, you pour, and you expect nothing in return. You take whatever it is that you get, and then you argue when you don't get what you want. I have a daughter. I have people who are connected to me. I will always tell them that a man will give you what he thinks you deserve. You have to let that man know what you're willing to stand with, what you are worth. Do not expect a man to value you for you, okay? It's like, let me use an example. You might have your grandmother's diamond and you know that it's worth way more. You take it to a pawn shop and the person there is going to tell you, hey, I can give you 50 for this. You get what I'm saying? There's a saying, you cannot toss your pearls to swines. Pretty much it's saying swines have no use for your pearl. Maybe they're just going to eat it up and poop it out. So when you leave your worth in the hands of a man, like you say, hey, whatever you give me, I'll just work with it. And then you get mad that the value that he has for you is not what you have of yourself. You are responsible for that. So moving forward, let us look at ourselves. Let us evaluate situations. Let us reevaluate our worth and let us look at the energy that we put into people and what the boundaries are that we have or haven't set and how that has led maybe in the past or is currently leading to our own demise. Men cannot be held responsible for every single bad thing that happens. But all I'm going to say to you is if you sit around and you allow a man to do what he wants to do, you are in cahoots with him to cause you pain. I do not accept relationship advice from just anyone because a lot of people that will tell you the number of years they've been together and the experience that they've had were not exactly experiences that I want. And so when I find even older women saying to younger women, this is what I had to do. I had to put up with some things. I had to hurt somewhat. And then my question usually to myself is this the result that I want? Because if the advice that you're giving me is not going to lead me to results that I want, do I want to spend the next 10, 15, 20 years of my life miserable, unhappy, crying myself to sleep, having to pump myself up with antibiotics because this man keeps making me sick? Is that really the life that I want? Do I want to live a life in constant anxiety every time my man leaves the house because now I'm worried, is he going to do that again? Do I want to constantly be worrying if he's going to go outside and get another child again? Is that the life that I want? Well, if that's not the life that I want, then I don't want advice from just anyone. Because the truth is a lot of people will put up with just about anything to say that their relationship lasted, to prove to the next person that, see, I didn't leave him. Women have been holding on to men who have been doing them dirt for years just to prove a point to other women that we are solid. We're solid what? We're two solid idiots. I did not mean that. I'm just saying I'm so sorry. The point of this video is to remind you that you have a choice. You have a decision to make as to whether or not you're going to sit around, not hold yourself accountable, and constantly blame men, because it's getting kind of old. It's really getting kind of old and stale. We're just going to sit there in the mud and constantly blame men for putting us in the mud, even though we never got up out of the mud. I really hope this video changes something for you, changes your perspective somehow. If not, if you know someone that could do with this video, go ahead and share it with them. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.